It's an impressive win. When you look at the way they defended, you look at the way they dominated contested possession around the stoppages, you look at the way they ran and spread, the work rate was brilliant, and they owned the corridor. It was actually a really comprehensive victory. I find it hard to pick fault with anything that they did.
I love teams that are strong without the footy, and if you're looking for an indicator for success, that's it. 37 inside 50s they've allowed the Brisbane Lions tonight, which is their lowest for about 150 games. So that's a smashing. Now, how they did it, we can break down the mechanics of that and guarding corridor and all those sorts of things. But when we talk about how experienced this group is, Joey, I think you can pull levers with a group like this that you can't with young groups. So I think there's an asset here that Craig McRae is leaning into rather than shying away from and saying, hey, let's try and, not having to educate players, but let's try and do some different things defensively to get this sort of outcome. It's a brilliant performance.
Well, they're probably the smartest footy team in the comp going back 2 or 3 years ago, and now they're just even more experienced. But for me, it is shades of 2023. I'm seeing that when I look at this Collingwood side. It looks like the team that won the premiership a couple of seasons ago, with the way they're able to bounce it and handball from half back, the way they're able to be really stingy defensively, the X factor in their forward half, and a midfield group that are going really well at the moment, so with a few new additions in there as well. So I just love the way they're going about it. They are formidable at the moment.
So it's 5 in a row. I think we can definitely say that opening round shocker against the Giants was an aberration.
Yep, absolutely. They've had that one out the way. Hopefully that's their only one. We saw last year every team had one of those games, and maybe for the Pies it was just at the start.
All right, we're going to head into the rooms because Jack Crisp joins us on Fox Footy Thursday Night Footy. Jack, thanks so much for your time. What a win. I mean, to come up to the Gabba and be able to produce that against the reigning premiers. You played magnificent football. What's the most pleasing aspect of that?
Yeah, thanks for that. I feel like it was a good 4-quarter performance, I guess, and then being on the road for just over a week, 2 away trips could be challenging if you look at it that way. But, yeah, I think we had a fantastic week prepping away from the football club, and then guys coming in to play tonight for, I think it was, Coxie came in, and then Sol come out, Geordie come in. They played pivotal roles, so it doesn't matter who was coming in. Everyone was really connected on field.
Congratulations, Jack. I agree. It was a dominant team effort that really got the points tonight. I think that's 4 in a row against Brisbane. What is it about that matchup that suits the way you guys play?
I don't know. I think they had the wood over us for a while before we won the last few. But it probably plays into our style a little bit. Same as Sydney last week, when both teams like uncontested footy and to control the game a bit. And what we're really strong at the moment is our team defence and staying connected and forcing opposition to kick long down the line. And then, we can flow off that.
That's where I want to start with your team defence. I thought it was terrific again tonight. The numbers reflect your dominance across the competition. Best team without the football the first 5 or 6 weeks so far in 2025. Did you set this as a plan? Is this a conscious decision from Craig McRae to get away from the explosive offensive game and go back to being stingy?
Yeah, well, we always pride ourselves on being a strong defensive unit, and then obviously we spoke about how our offence can flow off that. But you've got to get the defence right, you've got to set the field up, and then if we're doing that defensively, like if we get our bodies right, defensively, then they're already in the right spots for offence, and we can kind of flow with our hands or by kicking, just make the ground big. So, a lot of work goes into it, but, everyone's been really diligent in their role.
We're just talking about it. It feels like I'm watching. It looks like the shades of 2023 about the way you're playing. Can you compare teams and years? How does it feel compared to the premiership side of a couple of years ago? Would you say it's a different team, a different style, or is it feeling like it's very similar?
Well, to be honest, there's obviously a lot of similarities. It was only a couple of years ago, but we're just probably fine-tuning a lot of different areas. I think, obviously don't want to look back at it too much, but we came from behind a lot back in 2023. This year we seem to be playing 4 quarters of consistent football and giving ourselves a really good chance to win games strongly and run games out really strong and not giving the opposition a head start.
You can see the love in the group, Jack. We'll talk about your upcoming milestone shortly, but a man played his 200th game tonight in Jamie Elliott. I think he means a lot to the group too, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he missed all of 2016 and I think it was nearly all of 2018 with back and hamstring issues. He's definitely done it the hard way. He's very quiet and reserved, and he just looked at me and gave me a smile then. But, he's a great fella. He means a lot to the team. He competes hard. We know what we're going to get every week from him, and he leads well in the forward line.
So, Jack, Anzac Day just around the corner, the biggest home and away game on the football calendar, but it holds extra significance for you. 244 consecutive games equaling the late, great Jim Steins. What will that mean to you? What's the secret to your longevity? And do you wrap yourself in cotton wool for a few days just to make sure you get there?
Yeah, it's a best game of the year by far. But yeah, as you said, it's going to be extra special, I guess, this week. I know, it obviously means a lot. When you grow up, all you wanted to do is play AFL football as a kid. And then I was able to live out that dream early days. And then with Collingwood, got that opportunity to play some consistent football. And yeah, Bucks had faith in me, obviously, from the start as well. And then here we are, like 10 years later, still going. So I put a lot of work into like what I do at the football club, obviously, because you've got to play consistent football to keep going. I do put a lot of work into my body off the field as well. And then I've got great support at home with my wife and the kids. So they help me mentally switch off. And then, yeah, that makes a massive difference.
There's always one, Jack. Who's the one player you have to avoid on the training track this week that is capable of putting you out of the game?
I'm going to go with Ned Long. He trains the way he plays, a million miles an hour. I think he took Geordie out earlier in the year. That's why he was out with his sore knee. And I might just avoid him for the week.
Tell us, how close did you ever come to missing a game? Have you got a story about one time where it was you were inches away from not playing or minutes away? How close have you come?
I wouldn't say, I don't know, not minutes and stuff. I think I played crook a couple of times, but I think the main one for me was back in 2018. After the season started in 2018, I found out I had like a little stress fracture in my lower back, and I heard it, and I think it was in the first final, so I was able to get through. Then I didn't run for 3 months after that, and I had a hip operation at the same time, so I was pretty wounded then. But other than that, have me calf niggles, hammy niggles here and there, but you can get through.
Jack, this is not a financial decision because back in the day with the old contracts, you used to get match payments. I know it's changed a little bit now, and I reckon Brent Harvey played 300 games on match payments and refused to miss a game, had to keep those checks rolling in. Are you a bit the same?
No match payments. No, I love the game. I love it. I love what I do. To be still living out my childhood dream in year 14, I think it is at the moment. It's pretty surreal. And yeah, I'd love to keep playing as long as I can. So if I keep playing some good football, I might have to hit up Charlie Gardner and Ned Kelly and try and get myself another contract.
How much of it is luck, do you think, and how much of it is good management and good professionalism off field?
Like you probably say, obviously a little luck goes into football every game, but I don't shy away from changing anything. With occasions coming up, I still go hard at the footy. I do everything I do, like flying the ball in the air, go hard at the ground. But my main stuff is probably my preparation that I put in. It's like a lot of individual muscle groups that I work on with my hip, my back, my calves, Achilles, my feet. Every training, before training, every day before a game, like 3-4 times a week.
Do you feel like, Jack, that the age of this group and the experience in this group is an advantage on the competition?
Well, yeah, it definitely could be. Like you can see, we've all been... This is the very similar team that we had a couple of years ago and then like 5 years ago as well. So we've all played a lot of big games, a lot of big finals, and we've got probably that core group still together. So it definitely helps in the late moments of the games, late in quarters, and we've trained that really well over the last couple of years with Fly. It's been probably a big factor in a lot of our wins, being able to play to the last second.
Jack, congratulations on the win tonight and also the incredible milestone that you will achieve on Anzac Day. We look forward to covering that one on Fox Footy, and have a great week. Soak it up and enjoy all the build-up to the special milestone.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Well done. It is extraordinary when you think about it, just to be able to have, a little bit of luck at times, but that professionalism to make sure you get your body to the line, playing through illnesses, etc.
Yeah, it was a great insight. You've got to have the resilience to play through injury and illness, but you've got to have a little bit of luck, but also he's put in the preparation. But it's just ironic, wasn't he? He was talking about Jamie Elliott. He's played his 200th game after 15 years in the system, and he's had 244 straight, so credit to him.
He must have avoided scans. Because he talked about calf niggles and hamstring
Yeah.
niggles.
Yeah.
If you had scans and they showed a little nick, he'd get ruled out. So you must just avoid them.
Amazing. If you've got those guys at your football club, you put their magnet up every week, what it can do for the rest of your group. I think it's underrated what durability for 4, 5, 6 different players. I mean, Sidebottom plays every week. Pendlebury plays every week. Chris plays every week. They just fill in the edges more often than not and playing players when they're actually ready for senior footy, not rushing them because of injury to the stars or the ageing types.
My pop held the record at Essendon for a long time of 133 games, so consecutive, nowhere near that. But what stopped him in the end was he was a butcher by trade, and a big thing of hot water in the butcher shop went on his leg and scolded him, and that's what stopped his thing. So the fact that professional players now, Joey, they can just focus on getting their bodies right. Perhaps these records are,
Continue to fall.
Well,
a lot of players are playing well into their 30s, and no better example than this Collingwood side.
And Scott Pendlebury's probably a good one to learn some professionalism from. Kingy, the defence of Collingwood tonight, that has won the night, the fly trap.
Yeah.
It's impressive stuff.
Oh, these are just the numbers, and you can see there, the 85 point. You put something similar to this on the radar with Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, Joey. 16 and a draw when they keep the teams or their opposition to less than 85 points, 53 tonight. I mean, they've got an average of 66 points against them this year. I mean, if they hold that, they probably hold the cup. It's as simple as that. Last year, it was up around 85. So that's a 3-goal improvement defensively. That is huge. Hard to qualify. And when you see what it does to the opposition and just how frustrated they get when they can't move the ball. Here's Darcy Wilmot. Where am I going? I want to go. I need to pull the trigger. We want to play fast. Slaps his thighs. I've got nowhere to go. This just fuels itself. And Collingwood say, right, we've got him. We've got him where we want him. Let's hem him into the boundary line. They're going to want that short one. Bang. We're in and onto him. And that was probably the story of the night. It wasn't a high turnover game. It wasn't a high pressure game. It was a large game of chess. And Collingwood just had all the destinations covered. It wasn't source pressure. It was where do you want to kick the ball? Because we've got it covered. And I thought they did it brilliantly, and there's a lot of coaching goes into that. And a lot of man hours behind the scenes to get this right. But when you see it like this, to only concede 37 inside 50s, I'll say it again, that's their lowest for the Brisbane Lions for 6 years of footy, 150 games. This is a significant moment for the Pies defensively.
It was a great insight listening to Jack talk. He almost spoke about it. They went back to school. Almost off the back of last year, they fell away defensively, and I think over summer, you can tell pre-season, it's been a heavy emphasis. You mentioned connected. They've all played a lot of footy together, and as you touched on, nobody's getting through them at the moment. And it is an area where ball movement and transition, and a lot of teams are wanting to control the footy and find uncontested marks. If Collingwood keep defending like that, nobody's getting through them.
Ross Lyon openly says with the stand rule, it's never been easier to move the ball. So they've just shut that complete notion down with 37 inside 50s conceded tonight.
Well, let's have a closer look at the Pies' ball movement, Jay. So particularly their use of the handball to be able to get things going.
Yeah, I mean, whenever Brisbane did go forward or Brisbane had the ball, their ability to bring it to the ground and then take it away. And they owned the corridor. They just ran with speed, they ran with numbers, and in the end they just opened them up time and time again defensively. They didn't have any answers, Brisbane. They were under a heap of pressure, and then they found the right options going forward. So that's a great passage of play, moving it from one end to the other in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, the forward handball game. I think it was a season high for their metres gained from handball, which Kingy's touched on it. When they do that, they are hard to stop, and we saw it at their best tonight.
And a big part of that ball movement is Nick Dacos and the surgical skills that he has, the hard running Kingy. You want to have a closer look at him. 38 disposals and a goal. #1 rated player on the ground.
Yeah, just at stoppage and how hard he is to clamp. I mean, nothing like speed or power to create that separation, James. We talk about it with forwards a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think we talk about it enough with midfielders because burst steps create the separation. That's a metre. That's enough for him to go to work. As soon as he goes bang into the footy, Berry's done. So it doesn't matter what happens after that point. It's all about the timing. We saw it time and time again tonight. He had 8 clearances. Of his 38 disposals, 12 become scores because he takes the game from inside to out immediately, whether it's by foot or with leg speed or by hand. This is terrific centre bounce craft. He didn't on McCluggage. He just allows him to get a metre and he just threw the stoppage. The amount of times he pierced through 3 or 4 Brisbane Lion players today, he just made them look slow in second row. I don't know whether Ashcroft was 100% right, Joey. I'll give him that out, but he made them look stationary or slow at times tonight.
Yeah, Brisbane missed a trick. When you've got players like that want a time, they're hitting the contest, you've got to put body work into them and break that timing for them and let him rely on his strength, which is not his biggest weapon. He's not a Cripps or a Fife, but Brisbane just allowed him to waltz through, particularly in that first half, and the damage was done.
They set the tone early in the game in the first quarter with their contest and clearance. Their numbers were far superior to the Lions.
And they smashed them. I mean, this is normally Brisbane's game. They normally are one of the best teams in the competition at winning clearance and scoring from clearance. And we've seen that for about 5 years now, and Collingwood took that facet of the game off them, which was a great strength. And, I mean, Pendlebury's still getting it done with his clearance, and he's just obviously lost a yard of speed, but his hands, he's getting sharper with his handball game, and Sidebottom continuing his good form, and then obviously Dacos and Ned Long, got to get credit, Kingy. He's making a big influence.
Changed them, hasn't he? I think he's changed that midfield significantly. Now you've got Pendlebury slightly outside what he needs to be. Sidebottom slightly outside. And they're only little metres here, metres there, but you go from inside to outside at speed with the Pies. And they're not, all of them, they're not quick necessarily, but you get the game to the outside, they make you pay.